Hi. This video is not about the social unrest and the chaos that's going on right now, but I would be remiss if I didn't at least acknowledge it. This picture here is not from today or yesterday or earlier this week. This is from 1992. This is during the Rodney King riots, and I used to live in Los Angeles. I had a house up on a hill, and I could see from my backyard. I went out there one night during the riots, and there was about a 30-mile stretch of Los Angeles that I could see that sort of wrapped around me. And I could see about 7 different spots in Los Angeles that were on fire. And it wasn't like a house. It was, sections of the city where a whole bunch of fires were taking place. And if you take a look at this shot here, this is a strip mall, and all of these were businesses. And all those businesses had employees. And when the Rodney King riots happened, it devastated those neighborhoods for many years to come. The businesses are gone, so the people that live in these neighborhoods have no place to shop. They've got to go outside the neighborhood to shop. All the people that were employed by those businesses no longer have jobs, and most of them lived in the neighborhood. So those neighborhoods were just devastated. And years later, you could drive through it and still see the economic impact that the rioting had. People are venting their anger right now, but destruction and violence it really isn't the way. I don't know what to say about all of this, but it brings us up to today. We've got all these people out rioting and looting, and they've got a lot of things to be angry about. But the destruction and the looting doesn't do anything for you. When I was a kid, I tried stealing a couple of times. I tried stealing a couple of times when I was a little kid, and once again when I was a teenager. And there was something that always really felt bad about it to me. I didn't know what it was. But years later, I figured out that when you steal much more from yourself than you do from the other person. You steal your integrity, your ethics, your morality, and you steal your self-respect. And if you still think that you've got some self-respect after taking from somebody else, then you're a liar also, because you're lying to yourself. It's the worst thing that you can do. The worst thing you can do to yourself is take from another person. And then, after all of this destruction and everything, these people have a few more goodies. But that business in the background, a lot of these business owners were struggling to get through the 2020 pandemic, the great pandemic of 2020. And 3 months of being shut down, and they're about to open their businesses. They think they made it. A lot of these are small business owners. They're not all big chains and stuff. And then this comes along. What's going to happen? They're going to file an insurance claim and take whatever cash they get out of it and retire or do something else. Or, that's the end of the business and all of the jobs that business created. And somebody got a few goodies out of it. It isn't I don't know what to say to people. There's so much going on. One person can't say anything to turn any of this around. There's a lot of reason for people to be angry, except the way that they're going about it is not the correct means to the end that they're trying to achieve. They're going to get the opposite results of what they're trying to achieve. This guy Kanza posted something on Twitter, and it's one of Ludwig von Mises. Ludwig von Mises, Socialism was published in 1922, his book titled Socialism. Permanent mass unemployment destroys the moral foundations of the social order. The young people who, having finished their training for work, are forced to remain idle are the ferment out of which the most radical political movements are formed. In their ranks, the soldiers of the coming revolutions are recruited. And this, really does scare me. Anybody that's been following my videos knows that one of the things I worry about the most is the rise of socialism in the United States and all of the Western societies. This is socialism has never really created anything but death and destruction, and it always sounds good. It's easy stuff for a politician to sell. But when we're seeing the repercussions that I've been predicting for years, the social unrest, who knows what the match is going to be that lights the fuse? We can't predict that. But the social unrest you could see coming at us from a long way away. And this isn't the end of it. This is only the beginning. There will be a pause. This was kicked off by a particular instance, but there will be a pause, and then something's going to happen later where there's going to be social unrest. And, like I said, it was foreseeable, and it's caused by the manipulated markets that we have that cause the wealth disparity. It's the wealth disparity and income disparity that are creating such resentment. People that are so incredibly rich and people that are so incredibly poor side by side. And this is caused by the way banking is fundamentally done in the world. Central banking and then fractional reserve banking, and we don't even have reserves anymore. They're not necessary. If you followed a couple of videos ago, I showed you that they don't need reserves anymore. Banks just can create anything that you want to borrow. If they think you can pay it back, they'll write a loan for it. It can be $1 trillion. It doesn't really matter as long as they think they can get paid back. And they don't have to have any of the currency. They just create it on the spot. So getting to the point of this video is really about the performance of all of the other